Now talk about women's rights, as the latest Afrobarometer report shows that about 1 in 5 schoolgirls in Ghana experience persistent discrimination, harassment, or demands for sexual favors from teachers. Well, the country's level finding indicates that 22% of young girls are frequently exposed to misconduct by educators, raising concerns about safeguarding in schools. Well, the report follows a viral video from Bole Senior High School allegedly showing a teacher and a student in a sexual act in a laboratory, which sparked public outrage and renewed scrutiny of teacher conduct. It also notes that while 61% of Ghanaians believe victims would be when they report such cases, 71% feel the police and courts are not doing enough to protect women and girls. We'll still stay with women, as the Afrobarometer survey has also revealed overwhelming support across Africa for women's right to decide when to marry, when to have children, highlighting growing acceptance of women's autonomy in personal and family life. Well, the survey conducted across 38 African countries found that 75% of respondents believe girls and women should decide for themselves whether and when to marry. In addition, 62% say women should have the right to determine when to have children and how many children they want to have. Well, the findings point to a significant shift in public attitudes, with majority across the continent backing women's freedom to make some of the most important decisions affecting their lives. So while many Africans endorse women's autonomy in marriage and childbearing, women continue to face challenges in other areas, including household financial decision-making, access to employment, healthcare, and protection from discrimination. Anne Okello is the Assistant Project Manager for East Africa Afrobarometer, and she joins us via Zoom for a conversation on the back of this. Annie, thank you very much for joining us. Let me find out from you. So data shows strong support for women's autonomy in marriage and reproductive decisions, but the same report tells us weaker controls in economic life. What does this gap reveal about the kind of autonomy Africans are actually willing to accept for women?
Thank you so much for having me. So what this reveals is that while Africans do recognize and acknowledge women's rights, particularly when it comes to bodily autonomy, majorities say that women should decide whether and when to marry, and how many children they want to have, and if they want to have children. We find that this does not translate to their household lived experiences. Particularly when it comes to financial decision making, women are less likely to make financial decisions in their households on their own, and they're actually more likely to say that their spouse makes these financial decisions without supporting them. So what this shows is that we still have traditional norms entrenched, particularly in our household. And although Africans are willing to support women's rights, the support appears to be uneven. So we need this support for women's rights and autonomy to also translate to support to their economic authority in their households.
And interesting. Now, I'll go back to the findings again, because with nearly 3 in 10 respondents saying women often face sexual harassment in public spaces, what does this say about effectiveness of existing protection and social accountability systems? Of course, throughout Africa, it's become a concern for many.
Thank you so much. So when it comes to this again, when you open up actually the data, it's really concerning, because you have countries where strong majorities say that women do face this sexual harassment in public spaces. So at the same time, we find that more than 3/4 of Africans, that's 78%, say that authorities need to do more. These are the police and courts need to do more to support women and to actually ensure that they protect women from this harassment that they face. So Africans want more effective enforcement of the laws that exist. Though they do recognize that they exist, but they want more effective enforcement. Thank you.
You rightly mentioned, what do you think should be done? What are some of the highlights that you put across out of these findings, that if we do this and that, Africa would make progress maybe by the next time we go through the Afrobarometer report again?
Thank you so much. So again, our paper shows that while Africans, more than 6 in 10 Africans actually believe that if women complain of this harassment, sexual harassment, and that they are likely to be believed. But also we do see that a greater proportion of people feel that these authorities need to do more. So across the continent, many of our countries have made promises and have actually passed laws to safeguard women. But with this, we also find that according to the realities and people's experiences, women are still facing these challenges.
Well, just before I let you go, Anne, given that over a quarter of respondents report school children facing harassment and sexual demands from teachers, I mean, Ghana is facing its own problems. If you should check our news around this time, what does this suggest about safeguarding systems in education and institutional accountability, yes, workplaces amongst others?
Oh, thank you so much. So with this, we see that indeed the harassment also extends to schools where the most vulnerable of the population are. These are children who are underage. And so this shows that we need a more societal approach where we need increased public awareness so that we can effectively implement these laws, because if children are facing these challenges, this says a great deal to the society. So we need to do more. And as the data suggests, the authorities should do more to effectively implement these laws and protect women and girls. Thank you.
And we're so grateful. Thank you for the Afrobarometer report. Thank you for the breakdown. And I'm sure duty bearers and stakeholders will consider all the findings and ensure they are implemented accordingly. We're sincerely grateful for your